Okay, now, for part 2, part B of this question, we're told that there's a new sequence that's formed. Okay, this new sequence is as follows. U1 equals T2 minus T1. So the first term of the new sequence is the second term of the previous sequence minus the first term. So there's a couple of ways to do this. I'll show you both ways. So let's start off with maybe a more simplistic way that most people would think of. Okay, so first of all, you work out the value of the first term, which is 1 squared, which is 1. And the value of the second squared term, which is going to be 1 squared plus 2 squared, which is going to be 1 plus 4, which is 5. And then you're going to have the value of the third term, which is going to be this 5 plus 9, which is 14. Then you're going to have 14 plus 16, which is 30. That's the value of the first, second, third, and fourth term of the first sequence. The new sequence is basically where you take the second term of the first term of the new sequence, you take the second term of the first sequence minus the first term. So it's going to be 5 minus 1. The U1 is going to be 5 minus 1, which is 4. And U2 is going to be 14 minus 5, which is 9. And if you want to see what's going to happen next, you're going to have 13 minus 14, 13 minus 14, which is going to give us 16. So you can see that there's like 4, and 9, 16. Okay, so for part 2, it says write down a formula for the nth term of the sequence. We can spot these numbers 4, 9, and 16 as perfect squares. So we know it's got something to do with n squared. Okay, so if we think about the first term, when n equals 1, you get 4, which is 2 squared. When n equals 2, you get 9, which is 3 squared. When n equals 3, you get 16, which is 4 squared. So every term at the time, if you look at the n, okay, the number of the term, which is like the first term, it's always 1 more than that particular term squared. So 1 is 2 squared, the second term is 3 squared, the third term is 4 squared. If we thought about the 10th term, it's going to be 11 squared. The 99th term is going to be 100 squared. So every time you've got to add 1 to whatever n is and then square it. Okay. So if you want to find the nth term, well, we take the n, you add 1 to it, and then you square it. So it's going to be n plus 1 all squared. Okay, so that's answer to part B. Another way of doing this first question, or this, is you can just take them away as they are. So you can say, like, for example, the first term of u is going to be t2 minus t1, which is 1 squared plus 2 squared minus 1 squared, which gives you 2 squared, which is 4, as we saw. And the second term is going to be 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared minus 1 squared plus 2 squared. So when you subtract these, the 1 squared will cancel out with the 1 squared and the 2 squared will cancel out. 2 squared, you're left with 3 squared. Which we find is 9, and it will follow with the same pattern. The next term is going to be 4 squared, which is 16. And 5 squared, and so on. So the first term is 2 squared, the second term is 3 squared, the third term is going to be 4 squared, okay, the fourth term is going to be 5 squared, so the nth term is going to be 1 more than n, and then squared. Okay, so that's another way of doing it without actually calculating the values directly. You can do it by just looking at the pattern as they are square numbers. Okay, so now I'm going to do, in a few minutes, part C, which is what most of you were actually waiting for.